The Mediterranean of the 1st century BCE was not just a bustling highway of trade and culture, it was a place constantly shadowed by the threat of piracy. From the coasts of Cilicia to the islands of the Aegean, pirate bands had grown bold enough to disrupt trade, kidnap Romans for ransom, and even threaten the grain supply to the city of Rome itself. The scale of this threat, combined with the inefficiency of traditional Roman legal mechanisms to deal with it, led to one of the most striking legal innovations of the late Republic, the Lex Gabinia, passed in 67 BCE. This law didn't merely punish piracy, it gave Rome the legal authority to wage war on pirates in a sweeping, almost unprecedented way. Before the Lex Gabinia, Rome's approach to piracy was piecemeal. Provincial governors had limited powers, the fleet was small and often underfunded, and the legal framework was mostly reactive. Romans relied heavily on local allies, privateers, or temporary commands, which meant that pirate activity often outpaced Roman response. The stakes were high, the pirates didn't just steal goods, they threatened Rome's very survival by targeting the grain supply from Egypt, which fed millions of urban poor in the capital. A famine or severe shortage could destabilize the city politically and socially, giving the pirates a leverage no mere provincial edict could counter. Enter Aulus Gabinius, a tribune of the plebs, who proposed a law that broke the mold of Roman legal tradition. The Lex Gabinia granted Pompey Magnus extraordinary powers, giving him command over the entire Mediterranean and a 50-mile stretch inland along the coasts, with the authority to pursue and punish pirates wherever they were found. Unlike ordinary military commands, which were constrained by provincial boundaries, Pompey's command was essentially unrestricted in both space and time, though limited to 3 years. The law was radical not just in scope but in principle, it legitimized a concentrated, legal response to a problem that had long outstripped the traditional republican system of checks and balances. The Lex Gabinia also reflected a tension at the heart of Roman politics. Concentrating such immense power in the hands of a single individual was politically dangerous and controversial. Roman elites, wary of precedents that might lead to dictatorship, argued that giving Pompey sweeping imperium violated traditional republican norms. Yet, the sheer urgency of the pirate threat, and Pompey's popularity as a military commander, made the law politically feasible. It was a striking example of how law and politics could intersect in Rome. A legal instrument was crafted not merely to punish crime but to enable a centralized solution to an existential threat, bending republican norms in the process. Pompey's campaign against the pirates was nothing short of spectacular. Within 3 months, he had effectively cleared the Mediterranean of pirate activity, resettling pirate populations and restoring security to Roman trade routes. This rapid success vindicated the extraordinary powers granted by the Lex Gabinia and set a precedent for later legal innovations that authorized extraordinary commands in times of crisis. In essence, the law transformed piracy from a chronic nuisance into a legal justification for centralizing military authority, demonstrating how Rome could use legislation to address problems that outstripped conventional republican structures. The Lex Gabinia also had broader legal and cultural implications. By codifying the extraordinary powers of a single commander, the law blurred the lines between ordinary civil law, military authority, and emergency measures. It recognized that the standard republican framework was insufficient for extraordinary threats and that legal innovation was necessary to safeguard the state. The law highlighted the Roman willingness to suspend certain traditional norms temporarily in pursuit of security, a theme that would echo throughout the late Republic as generals like Caesar and Crassus sought extraordinary commands under legal cover. In terms of its legacy, the Lex Gabinia stands as a pivotal moment in Roman law and political practice. While it was ostensibly about combating piracy, it also illustrated the potential of law as a tool for political and military innovation, legitimizing what might otherwise have been considered unconstitutional consolidation of power. It is a vivid example of how legal reforms could respond directly to social, economic, and security crises, and how Rome adapted its law not only to punish wrongdoing but to authorize proactive measures against systemic threats. In the final analysis, the Lex Gabinia was more than a law, it was a legal experiment in crisis governance. It codified a principle that would echo for generations: when the Republic faces an extraordinary threat, the law can, and perhaps must, bend to enable extraordinary solutions. By legitimizing a targeted, centralized, and rapid military response, it not only defeated piracy but also redefined the possibilities of legal authority in the late Roman Republic, foreshadowing the extraordinary commands and precedents that would shape Roman political culture in the decades to come.